Right. Well, welcome back to our podcast. No intros this time.
No, we can do intros, but you
I
know.
intro.
We can do the intro again if you want to.
Welcome to the Color of Cashflow podcast with your host, with the mostest.
See, now you playing around. This is the Color of Cashflow podcast. It's really that simple. It's me, Cory, or Buffalo Billions if you want to follow me on Instagram. But either way. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Sabrina of Sabrina Sells DFW, your local,
episodes.
and no one asked you, your local realtor, your real estate specialist, your insurance sales agent, because I'm a sell that life to you, okay?
I didn't know we was doing all that.
We were doing all the things today,
well,
okay? I just wanted to because the atmosphere is so different today.
So that's the case. Go grab my book. It's online, The Monopoly Project.
It's pretty dope.
Williams.
I have it here.
Go ahead and visit that buffalobillions.com. Get you some apparel. It's a reason and a method behind it. But anyways, I'm not gonna go there. Let's get into the topic.
Okay, let's get into the topic. So right now, as we all know, everybody is feeling some type of pressure, like pressure from work or pressure from family or pressure from friends, expectations. Not being where you want it to be financially, spiritually, physically, different things like that. So I just kind of wanted to talk about how we budget in different areas of our life. So for me, like when I need to budget financially, I can start pulling back on like frivolous spending that I've done, or I find myself moving from home good shopping to Ross shopping. Like I you know what I mean? Like I'm like let me cut, but like the pan at Home Goods is nicer, but the one at Ross is more cost effective and it's gonna do the same job, even though it doesn't come in copper. Like I find other ways to cut costs where I need to.
Right.
Another thing is this year I felt the pressure from taxes increasing so much on my properties. One thing I told myself, and I made it a goal in one of the quarters, was to remove the PMI off of all of my loans. For all of my mortgages, that private mortgage insurance that's on.
All right, there we go.
So if you don't put 15 to 20% down on your home when you purchase it, you have to pay, especially in a conventional loan. FHA, you're going to pay the MIP regardless. But with a conventional loan, you pay that monthly mortgage fee, and it's an insurance to cover them for giving you the loan for such a low down payment. And if something was to happen, they would use that insurance to cover the bank. It's not to cover you. You pay it, but it's to cover the bank for giving you the loan. In case you default, it's still their house until you get the deed. So if there's any losses, they file a claim on the insurance that you pay.
But you still pay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So one of my goals was to remove that so that I could save about $200 to $220 a month in monthly payment fees if I could just get that removed off of all my loans. So I did that this year. The easiest one being PNC Bank. That was, they do a online Zillow search for your property. If you're at the percentage that you need to be at, they just remove it. It was very easy. I also did it with 2 other banks for properties that are still on mortgages and got that removed. Like that for me was a way to budget and not actually have to change anything, but finding like crafty ways to budget and save and bring more of my money into my house without having to do more work.
Is that something that just happens when you buy a home? Is that automatic?
So they will tell you that it's automatic and that it will happen whenever your value exceeds, I think it's like 78% of your loan. But you can do it at 80%, and you can do it yourself. And a lot of times they're not going to just automatically do it. They'll tell you that it's going to automatically be done, but you would naturally be waiting about 7 years for it to happen. But most of the time you can get it removed after 2 years.
Well, I'm asking, is it something that, like when you go buy your house, that they automatically add on there, or is it something that you have to?
Oh, no. It's added on.
Oh, okay.
They're going to add it on. So when you get a conventional loan and you put down only 3% or 5% or even 10%, they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm giving you so much more than what you gave.
Right.
What you brought to the table is so small. I need you to cover the insurance in case you fail me.
So it's just built into.
Yeah, it just ends up being built into your monthly payment. So that PMI is just a part of your monthly payment until you get below a certain, and typically you want to pay off 20% of that loan.
Yeah.
But in Texas, it's the value of your home. So a lot of times that happens naturally because our values increase so much. So you can get that removed without making any other additional significant payments. Now, I always have paid my mortgage bi-monthly. That's twice a month? Bi-monthly. So I get the extra payment every year anyways. But it's been more beneficial to me when I need to budget to have a lower monthly payment. And that typically only happens from me going in and removing that PMI or fighting my tax bill, which I do every year. Some they adjust, some they really don't.
Every payment? Or it's not like an every year or
no.
Or
so
a final thing?
Once you remove the PMI, it's gone.
Okay.
It's gone.
Gotcha.
So like for mine now, I don't have PMI on any of my loans.
Okay.
But the taxes I have to fight yearly.
So I guess how long did you wait before you removed it? Like, I mean, I know house prices are getting crazy in Texas.
So on 2.5 years was the earliest one. The other loan had been active for about 3.5 years, and
so
the
what
other
would you tell somebody that bought a home how long they
2 years?
Okay.
2 years, because most of the banks now, so it's a new thing because our values in Texas move up so quickly. Most banks have a restriction when you purchase it and you get PMI that they won't remove it before 2 years now.
Oh, so they trying to build it in.
Of course. They're trying to get something.
I'm gonna say.
Absolutely. So they're gonna always make sure they get theirs, always. So that's just something that you have to wait out. But after 2 years, you can't get that removed. Now I had one that was as low as $60 a month, but I also had another one that was like $170. So
do you add up that a month for the year? Do they give it back to you like one lump sum?
No, they don't give it back. You just get to stop paying.
Oh, so it's not like a little refund? Like,
absolutely not. Don't expect that.
I really will. I'm gonna start adding it up. Like, okay, each month I get this back. Okay.
That's why I was in such a rush to stop paying it because you don't get anything back. And a lot of people don't realize that's why refinancing your home is important when you have high interest rates. So I spoke to a couple at the beginning of this summer or like in the spring, and they had purchased their home like 15 years before. They were still making payments, and their interest rate was like 11 point something. And I was like, you never refinance? And they were like, we could make the payment so it wasn't a big deal. Here's my problem with interest rates. That money is only going to the bank. It's not the additional money that you're paying each month when your interest rate is high. It doesn't go towards the purchase of your home. It goes to the bank as a fee for giving you the money. Now, if you refinance and you can keep the payment the same, you actually just pay your house off faster because now you're paying for your house.
But see, this is what I hear a lot on social media. It's like, just refinance when the time is right, when the interest rates are down. But what happens if you buy, the time that you buy your house, your credit score is 650, 700, whatever it is, it's great. And then 3 years down the line, something happens, is you got these credit cards or you got these loans from other stuff, and now your credit score has dropped significantly, 600 or whatever the case is. People say, just refinance. But when you go back to refinance, they're still looking at your credit score and stuff, correct? They are. So, and if it's not what it should be or where you think it should be.
The goal is that it should keep getting better. But stuff does happen. And I know for me, even in purchasing a home, you lose a lot of your credit score at different times. Cars, you pay it off. All of a sudden, you get that dip. So it's a constant balance. But at the end of the day, a lot of times, if that person who purchased a home at 11% interest rate, even if their score had dropped 80 points, when they refinance it at 5, 6, 8%, still going to be 3% less a month. And in interest rate, in absolutely nothing fees. And a lot of people don't know like what those numbers are. That's several $100s a month.
But do you ever think it's going to get back down? I just don't see the economy ever taking that kind of a dip. Like if you got 11% on a house, do you ever see it going back to 5% or 4%? Maybe it'll drop back down to 7%.
I think I would think so because they're cyclical, and it's always been that way. Now getting into the I think the lowest one I have is a 2.3.
When did you buy it in 1953? Like
that's actually my most recent purchase. So I bought during the pandemic, and if we can use our mind to think. I think before you were talking about stocks and how people get scared and back out whenever they start to lose or things get shaky. Mm-hmm. That's when you have to take off your normal hat and put on your investor hat and say, what is happening right now that I can take advantage of? Because if we ever get another pandemic, what do you think is going to happen?
But will you have the money set aside?
It wasn't even about having money set aside. They were giving houses away because people were afraid to move. Like there was so much going on elsewhere that people were afraid to move and do anything. Mm-hmm. That's how I happened upon this house.
Like, hey, y'all take these rates.
The rates and the price of the house. Absolutely. Houses. And then the next year, you couldn't get into this same floor plan for less than $110,000 more than what I paid.
And then the interest rates is like 5, 6, 7.
Exactly. So now you're paying, and even so, people always like to joke about, make fun of it. Them people who was buying houses, they was paying $100,000 over the asking price. Mm-hmm. So they were paying $100,000 over the asking price, say on like a $300,000 house. So say they paid $400,000 for it, right? Uh-huh. But to pay over asking, you had to use cash. You had to use your money. So those people use that money from their like 401k. Mm-hmm. So the loan is still only for the $300,000. They just paid $400,000, right? But they have a $300,000 loan at 3.5% interest rate. Mm-hmm. Now you're laughing at them for paying $400 when their mortgage note is about $2,400 a month. But now, if you were to buy a $300,000 house, you're looking at a $3,000 a month monthly payment.
And you're going to be paying that right back over in the next 5 years or so monthly.
Exactly.
That extra $700-800 a month. Okay.
And that person who bought at that time is gaining that equity back to get that money when it is time for them to want to sell.
Now you sad because you thought I'm going to just wait.
I'm going to just wait it out. But that's what we do, right? Like anytime something bad happens, we wait it out. But the goal is to, take off that hat, put on your investor hat, and look at it through new eyes and say, how can I take advantage of this moment? Even right now with interest rates and things like that being so high, now is the time to stack cash and buy things cash because prices are lower than they've ever been. Like legit got an email this week about a 5-bedroom house, new construction being listed for $290,000.
5 bedrooms?
Yeah, I know, right? New construction, 5 bedrooms for $290,000. If you
even with the interest rates as high as they are now. Wow.
And they actually had a really good, like a 5.5% interest rate if you go with their lender. And so those opportunities come, and that like 2,500 square feet. Like that's wild.
That's
because if you wanted that house 2 years ago, you would have paid $490,000.
I was just gonna say like $400,000 at least.
And you'd have had to bid over to get it, to be the person who gets it.
You had to hope that you would get it.
Yeah, you had to box and
gladiators.
So you just have to think differently whenever that time passes or whatever is coming around that time. I found different ways for me to budget, get myself back into what I need to be doing, and refocus. And this has been a time for refocusing on me and in growth in different areas. Because there's some stuff on my vision board that I'm not going to hit this year. And that's okay. Because I looked at that thing and realized it doesn't match what's going on right now. Because I set a goal for the year. But nowhere in my goals that I plan on interest rates being as high as they are right now. And so that changes how I want to do business in that area. And so now I have to focus that energy on how do I still hit a target but differently. And it's, for me, it's usually going to be in real estate. So I need to refocus what I'm doing and figure those things out. But I've done a bit of budgeting even when it comes to what I'm willing to switch out. Like, I turned into this year that landlord that paints over light switches.
Just get it. We gotta get it.
We just gotta get somebody in here. We just gotta get somebody in here. And like, I have made fun of that. I'm like, so lazy. And I'm like, we gotta get stuff done.
I see what's
we
going
gotta
on.
get people in here.
So how often would you say, because now I'm thinking about it, like budgeting, I know, prices, interest rates, all that change, not just for houses, but cars, everything. Groceries is crazy right now. People are like, man, I'm just going to, I remember there used to be a saying, like, you don't need to go out and eat all the time.
Yeah.
You're going to waste money. Go buy groceries. Now it's like, it might be cheaper to go out and eat.
It is cheaper to go out and eat. I know for a fact, because I go out and eat. Because I know one thing. That roast that used to be $12 is $28. And I'm just not roasting the way I eat.
So that's what I'm saying. So now, how often are you like just checking, like, you know what, let me recheck my budget, let me re-strategize, let me go back and look at this to see if I need to change some things? Because I know for me, I used to do it like about every 4 to 5 months.
Yeah, me too.
But now I feel like I'm doing it every month. Like,
hourly.
Like, I'm looking at it like, hold on, where did we spend that? When did we spend that?
Yes.
How did we spend that?
Who robbed me?
That's exactly it.
And who still has this subscription?
And who is FICO? No, taking all my money. But yeah, so it's just kind of like, I do feel like, man, every time I buy something or every time I go out, like, I'm watching my spending more. Because it's just a little too much at this point in time just to be out here just
frivolously turning up. Yeah, you can't. I feel like the pressure that we have right now on spending is so heavy. Like, it's overbearing. Like, and I'm not saying that I didn't ever look at prices. I've always been cheap. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. My family knows I'm cheap.
I don't think it's cheap. I think it's smart. Like, we got to look at prices.
That's how I look at it. But my family is, bring the cheap. So that's how they look at me. But I've always had the luxury of grocery shopping basically blindfolded. If I want the good cheese, I'm going to get the good cheese. If I want the real butter, I'm going to get the real butter. Now I stand there and I actually look at the prices and I say, do I actually notice whether the butter is salted or unsalted? I haven't actually... No, I haven't noticed.
Let me taste that a little bit.
You know what? Let me get the store brand because I don't actually notice a difference. Like, I'm actually looking and I need to taste the difference in the quality.
To really make the decision on, do I really need to buy this? If I'm going to spend that extra money,
like in seafood, so I'm the type of person where I could easily live off of seafood. Like, I don't need
breakfast.
Beef. Yeah.
Breakfast food is probably the go-to.
Yes. I don't need beef or chicken if there's always a seafood option. I would be totally fine with it.
Shrimp, crab, anything.
Put it in. You can put it in anything. You can put it between a bun. You can just. It's just a different.
Do you eat sushi?
I do.
Wow, I can't. Anyways, go on.
I grew into it. I understand. I grew into it. So, but now I have to think back, when is the last time I had scrimps? Like, I used to always, in the grocery store, like the same way that I pick up milk, I also grab a bag of jumbo shrimp. I now look at the shrimp and then I find my eyes wandering down to that salad shrimp. You know, those...
The ones you can barely see.
Yeah. You don't even know if you got it or not.
These? Where did y'all grow these at?
I used to get the big ones and chop them up and have them in stuff and it'd be chunky bites. Now I'm looking at those salad shrimp like, they're not that small.
Can't even taste nothing.
You can't. And if you cook them, then they just disappear. Them things are like spinach.
I'll throw them in the pan. They just disappear in the steam.
Bring me the rest of the bag.
What was the rest of the bag?
The rest of the shrimp.
No, that's it right there. No, yeah.
I don't buy shrimp like I used to. And even with my sister, we used to do like a little crab boil. Ain't no
little crab boil no more.
We ain't crab boiling nothing. We ain't getting crab flavored.
I really believe that going into 2024. I don't want to talk too much about politics and presidents and things of that nature.
No, because we don't know who will be there.
I mean, we kind of do. If I'm honest, I know who it's gonna be.
Let's just be honest.
Let's just be honest. Don't get me started. But anyways, I kind of do. But my point is, if I think,
do you want to expound on that, or
I don't do that. Don't do that on here. Focus, Cory. I really feel like the next president. Let me walk this out correctly.
Yeah, you're getting.
I really feel like the next president will definitely help our economy out big time. And
are you saying that's different than where we stand currently?
Definitely.
Just so we can get an idea of where you're headed.
Definitely. You want to do this to me? Okay. Yes, I do feel like that where we're standing now is trash. How a boy say trash. Like it's just trash. Yes. Bubba.
Yeah.
That's his name. But moving into 2024, I am hopeful, since we're talking about budget, I am hopeful that the economy will begin to switch a little bit. I know there's a lot of people out there and they say, no, this thing is going to push you into 2025, 2026 maybe.
Yeah.
But
they're saying the same thing about interest rates and housing and all that kind of stuff. But
I just feel like at least maybe we're going to pump the brakes on stuff. Like we're doing
and
this
they don't
free fall
understand.
right now.
I'm grateful. Like when gas doesn't go up, like if it just holds steady, I'm pleased.
But see, people talk about gas. That's what groceries is one thing, but with gas, I don't really look at I gotta get to where I gotta get to. Like,
absolutely.
If I put in $5 here, I'm still gonna have to put $5 down the street.
No.
Like I'm just gonna have to do it.
The only difference is that I cry a little more. I'm in real estate. These people be like, yeah, I'm in Alamogordo, and I'd like to see this one cabin out here. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, give me 4 hours to get there.
Yeah, get there. $5.
Yeah, so I fill up the tank because I'm not going to waste my time with the pity pat $5. Sometimes it's my dollars, sometimes it's Visa's dollars. Sometimes they're MasterCard's dollars and I have to pay them back. But I'm going to fill up the entire tank and I get where I'm going. But I am, and a lot of times I don't notice until I'm done, but I'm like, this car does not take $47 to fill up. It should be $29. That's when
At least you don't got a truck like me. So.
That's very true.
It's like $80.
But I also have to. I knew when I bought this car, I bought it for real estate, and I purposely looked at the most reliable, top rated SUV. Like I need something with durable that had cheap replacement parts. Because I knew I was about to ride this thing.
You had to get all the parts.
And the thing is, the people who call me, they know too. They're like, hey, I was looking at this house in Grayson County. Where is Grayson County?
Look at this all the way in Washington, D.C.
There's a piece of land in Commerce.
Man, that's like an hour and a half away from here.
Yeah, it is. And it's deep off into...
Oh, it's like the country Commerce.
And it's not like... You're gonna be just riding on regular road. Like that's why I research my car. You're in there. You're in that. Like people are like, oh, she jamming. I'm not jamming. There's no music on. My Pandora won't even connect out here.
Definitely, you get lost out there. Yes. I got some stories. I went to college out there, so yeah, it's real.
It's tough out there. So like, I know I purposely bought this car for this cheap parts, cheap everything. But I also knew that I wasn't getting some of the luxury that I was getting from my last two cars. And I had to accept it. And I still fight it. But then there's other times where I do fill up. And it is as cheap as it is. Because, like, my Mercedes took diesel. My SUV was diesel. So I used to fill that thing up. And I could walk away. I could feed the ducks. And it would still... It would still be filling up. Like, it's okay. Yeah. I'm going to be broke after this. I knew I would be. It's okay. I'm just going to feed the ducks and move on with the day.
And we're back and it's still not
I'm out here with 18-wheelers filling up. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be a good day. But I bought this car because I knew it would be cheap for me to fill up.
Yeah.
And now I'm leaning towards Mercedes and Audi gas. And I'm like, maybe I should have just kept it. But I don't know what their gas is looking like.
I was going to say, if if your cheap car is here now, that means Mercedes and everybody else
I'd probably be walking.
is here now.
You might be better off Ubering.
Hey, I see more mopeds these days than anything. I might have to get me one of them.
The way that parents have been picking up their kids on mopeds, I promise you, Andrew better be on the handlebars.
Your parents pick up kids up like
in the car line on the moped. Where's your helmet?
Hey, I think it's a good investment. I'm seeing more and more people, and then now there's some that I don't want to anger my motorcycle enthusiasts out there, but there's some that look kind of cool. Like okay, we know it's not a Harley, but this moped kind of nice though.
Yeah.
Like it's got a radio going on. Does it look a little comfortable? So I'm strongly thinking about mopeds just because I just want one. I don't necessarily need one.
It just kind of looks fun.
Out in the boonies, but people in the city, they probably need to invest more. But I want one because I just want to ride around.
It sounds fun. At the end of the day, I would like to have all of those little toy vehicles that you can play with them.
Well, all the things you got going on, you can afford them.
One day.
Okay.
One day.
Okay.
One day. I'll get there.
All right, we've been modest. But anyways, moving on.
Yes. So how are you budgeting in this season? Because I have budgeted.
I'm just.
Are you really?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I would be homeless right now if that was the case.
Because that is the case right now.
Look, our house is paid off, which is an excellent thing.
It is.
But it seems like the universe knows when you pay things off.
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
Oh, you paid your car off? Go ahead and get you another this
Absolutely.
or that. Or we're gonna raise the taxes up in this area. It's like, hold on, is it only me? Yeah, just you.
Just you.
Because you've already got other stuff paid off. So
you got the extra now.
But yeah, there is a lot. I will say I do consider where I go a little more as far as gas. I mean, I still don't pay attention to gas like that, but I do consider, like, do I really need to go there?
Yeah.
Or is that just because I want to get out of the house or I want to do something like that? But
even eating out, like I'm not talking about like fast food eating out. Like when you go sit in a restaurant and eat, like those for me were like celebratory times. So if I'm going to sit down and enjoy a meal, everything that's on the menu is game. But now I'm like, take your eyes off that. Don't look towards the top of the menu. Yeah, like it's different. I'm like, no, I'm just looking. It's different, and I'm like, I don't enjoy this time. I don't enjoy budgeting to the extent that the stuff that I do like to enjoy, I can't just enjoy.
Right.
And the thing is, it's like, well, you can if you just give up other stuff. It's not that high on my list. So I guess it is.
That's where I think everybody, even before the whole pandemic, even before the crazy price hikes, now you have to still do the work. I put it on like Facebook or something one day because I was battling within myself. Like you still have to do the work, whether prices are high, whether prices are low, because if you don't budget, or if you don't at least try to budget a little bit when it does get crazy it is now, you're gonna feel lost. Like you're gonna feel like, dang, like where's my money? Like everybody's saying that. Hold on, why is the economy so crazy right now?
Yeah.
I only got a $2 raise or a 5-cent raise or whatever it is. I'm not catching up to what the present prices are now.
We're not gonna catch up. You have to do something different right now.
You do, but you also have to do the little things. Like you have to do the little things. You have to do the work, and that means I have to go back and look at my budget. I have to check it out every month and say, what did I spend my money on this month? And more times than not, it's either food or
it is food. Food is
or
deep.
food.
Yeah. It's probably food. If I look at mine.
Or some form of food, like Starbucks or something like, oh, do I really need this?
Oh man.
You don't.
Yeah.
But because you're so used to that.
But that pumpkin cream right now has got a hold on.
Do you see what I'm saying?
It's got a hold on.
And you tell yourself in your mind, oh, it's the holidays. Let me go ahead and.
I have to get my first PSL of the season.
Why not? Let me get this. Let me go get one of those little Christmas cookies. Like you start doing all that, and then you get to Christmas, and you're like, dang, like I ain't got no money for presents. So now what you start doing? You start using that credit card. Yeah. All because you didn't at least sit down, at least say, you know what? If I want to buy my kids this, or if I want to buy my spouse or my significant other this, when the time comes around, then I need to cut back starting September or
Yes,
October.
yes.
$50 a week on
Yeah.
this, $20 a week on this. But
It
people
has
don't
to be.
think like that.
Yeah.
And because they don't, you get in all that trouble of when January 1st hit. Now you can't
now
pay
you got
your
all
rent.
that credit.
Now you got all that, yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I just keep rolling up. You can start drowning like, dang, how did I even get here? Well,
Yeah.
yes, you need to control your spending, but it starts with
You gotta
how
plan,
do I
yeah.
plan and budget for this, and people will overlook that with ease because it's something they don't want. I'll put it. I'll get to. I'll get to it, and then now it turns into
No.
oh, now I'm in $20,000 debt, or now.
So since you said that, what do you agree with or disagree with paying yourself first? So you get a paycheck.
Always, because no matter what, it helps drive. I don't know how everybody else's mind works, but it helps drive me to say, I just worked this whole week with whatever company I got, whatever job I'm working at, all that. I just worked this week, and if I don't pay myself, you start feeling like you're slaving, not in a past tense. Oh, you're a slave, but I mean you feel like you're slaving over your dollars. Meaning I'm working and I'm getting nothing for this.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the week, once that paycheck hits, because you already know once that paycheck hits, going 100 different places, and now you back to square one. And so if you don't pay, I'm a huge believer. I don't care if it's $10, I don't care if it's $20, $50, $100. If you don't pay yourself, you start. Over time, you start looking like, why am I even working?
Yeah,
like,
and I can tell you that whenever I get into a pinch, or if I decide that right now all of my money is going towards this thing, and I stop paying myself, I feel like what I'm doing isn't as valuable as it was before when I was paying myself. Because even, like you said, even if it is $10 that you're putting to the side, there was something peaceful about having my emergency fund, right? And now that I don't have my full emergency fund, like I like to have, because I like to have 6 months. I know they say 3 to 6 months, but 6 months, because I am an emotional being, and so I make emotional decisions. So I need more than the average because I might spend a little bit more. Yeah.
Right,
so
like at least.
I don't have 6 months right now, and it makes me uneasy. And I'm like, and I haven't been paying myself, and it makes me feel undervalued in my work because I'm not paying me.
Now, do you feel like it's tied that way because of just how you're made, like just how you're built, or is it more of a societal, this kind of thing has been forced upon me because I'm looking at it from a societal standpoint of I need more finances for this, or I need more finances for that?
I think it's a little bit of both, because I can't ignore the fact of the pressure and the cost of everything increasing, but at the same time, personally for me, I know that like if I'm needing to think through something, like I go to the cleanest, neatest space in my house. Or if I don't have one, I make one. Like I clean an area because I need it to look like I'm at peace while I think through this. So when I don't have my emergency fund, I can't make decisions the way I'd like to. I can't think, I'm like, I'd like to do this. I can probably be successful if I do this, but in that 1%, that if it does not go the way I want it to, I don't have 6 months to cover me so I can recover from this. And so I don't make good investment decisions because I haven't placed that money where I need it to be for me to be at peace with my decision making. I feel comfortable making bad decisions and learning from them if I have everything where it's supposed to be and everything is paid the way it's supposed to be paid and I don't have to worry about it. I'm cool. I'm at peace.
That's why I asked you, because some people be like, well, it shouldn't be tied to how, getting paid or paying yourself in your work. Your happiness shouldn't be tied to that, blah, blah, this and that. And I said, that's why I asked, is it something that's just in you? Because it's just, I'm not saying this for everybody, but I know for me, it's something in me that says, man, if I'm doing all this work with the companies I've created, with the job that I picked, the career that I have, with the side hustles that I do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not just doing all this just to pay out bills and do all and live the lifestyle. I still want to be able to pay myself to say, you know what, I can pay myself $20 and I can go get my Starbucks or whatever. And so I think
Taco Tuesday.
Exactly. I don't think everybody thinks like that, but at the same time, if you want to get to a place, because I don't think it's going to change, and all the complaining about, oh, this capitalist country and blah, blah, they don't care.
Nope.
They don't care. So all you people who complain that, oh, man, we need to figure out, no. What you need to figure out is your budget.
Yeah,
what you
do.
need to figure out is how can I save money in certain places? And I'm not speaking to the people who really are like at their
living paycheck to paycheck. Like it's not. No.
It is. There's two kind of people in a sense. People who just be blowing money like that and then trying to figure out how I'm gonna get money for my bills. Irresponsibly versus people who are, whether they may not be budgeting, but they know.
All their money is going to bills. I don't need to budget. There's nothing left over. I pay everything. And then the reason why I know is because I've been there.
Right,
I have all right, got that check, so let me pay everything and then see what's left. There is nothing left.
Oh, wait until next check. Like, seriously, people who are living paycheck to paycheck. But I'm just saying, like, there has to be some kind of work done. And if there isn't any work done, don't expect. I don't like seeing people complain about, oh, I don't have this, especially on social media. Oh, man, it's cost of living is skyrocketing. Yes, understood. But what plan are you creating now?
Because you have to change your life and your lifestyle, especially if you want to come up. Like we talked about before, the whole roommate situation. We've talked about other ways that people can get creative in their finances so that they can get ahead in this time. We've talked about how they can invest in things like life insurance and stuff like that to put money aside for the future so that you are doing something to hedge against these increases that we are seeing every single year. It's not going to stop. We're not going to get to a point where they're like, all right, guys,
y'all are complaining
we're done increasing taxes. Like, that's not going to come. They're going to get more money from us. So you have to have something that is hedging against that and still growing so that you can move forward. Otherwise, you're just kind of stuck in one place. So we have to keep doing those things. And I know for me, like, I struggle accepting some of those things and what I have to do in those situations. But I know, like, I don't like raising rents when I have tenants. Like, I actually don't like to raise the rent. I feel like
you're a good landlord. You're not a slumlord.
Right? And let me tell you, I have slumlord thoughts sometimes. But I'm not
bad tenants.
Yes. But I feel like I know that I haven't given you any more this year than last year. So why would I charge you more for this space? But when taxes and insurance go up and I can't control it and I can't fight it, or I fought it and they've rejected it and the insurance is still going to go up, that has to come from somewhere and it can't come from me. I'm sorry.
So do you feel comfortable with raising rent then?
I do. I raise the rents and I don't like to, and I'm like, because I know that other people are struggling too. Now, I did have some long-term tenants I had for a long period of time, and to be honest, I split those costs with them. Like the increases that, because I know that they're also seeing increases in electricity and water bills because those are increasing for me. So I know they're increasing for them. So I'm like, I don't want to throw this on them all at once. So what I would do is I am going to raise their rents, but I'm going to cover a large portion of the taxes on my end and just write it off. I have that luxury, they don't. But at the same time, I still need my cash flow.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people I'm noticing too that keep looking into real estate or that are contacting me about real estate and renting out properties and stuff like that, they're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. They're not looking for a plan. They're not looking for a future solution. They're not looking for that. They're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. And there was a guy, I don't even remember who, on his social media, he laid out this plan and said, 10 properties at $1,600 a month is $16,000 a month for the landlord. And of course, like, you forgot about taxes, you forgot about this, you didn't think about that, and these mortgages you got on them, you can barely get any net. And it's like, he wasn't talking about go today and get 10 homes on 10 mortgages.
He's just saying build it up.
Build. It's just saying over time, think about this. As you're paying these off, you could be getting closer to literally having $16,000 a month. Because if you think about it, if you were charging $1,600 a month for rent, as you build, that rent is increasing. The value of it is increasing over time. So you will actually get there a lot faster, regardless of the mortgage or not, because you're going to be paying some of these off, and you're not even paying the mortgage.
Right.
Someone else is paying the mortgage.
Right.
You're just getting the flow off the top, and the mortgage is being paid. So it's a 2-for-1. Exactly. So it's a plan. It's not a get rich quick scheme.
But
like, chill out.
You said that's how people look at it. Like,
no, well, that don't work because the mortgage. You got to pay the mortgage. You got to pay the taxes. You got to have the insurance. You got to have this. You're only gonna be net flowing like this much, and it's like, yep. And then as you're saving money every month. Or you could be putting 100% of what they're giving you into the rent and not have any extra and be paying off that mortgage faster. There's tons of things that you could be doing. Because for me, when I refinanced my first house, when he told me that I could, he was like, yeah, here's your options. You can keep the same payment and we can flip it to a 15-year mortgage, or we can lower your payment and you can save about $300 and something a month and $400 a month. I was like, hold on. I can save 10 years of payments and interest. And he was like, yeah. So in the long run, you would save about, I think it was like $100 and something thousand in just interest. Because when you buy your house, right? Like say you paid $200,000 for your house.
Yeah.
You're going to pay about $450,000 for your house because of the interest over. Exactly. Yeah. Especially with the interest rates now, you're paying a whole lot more.
Right.
So you're going to pay way more than that. But I saved over $100,000 just in doing it. I'm like, okay. So I've been paying on this house for 5 years, and now I flipped it to a 15-year mortgage. So technically 20 years of payments. But I can reduce it again as I continue to pay it down. But I'm like, I decided to keep the same payment and not increase my net cash flow and just pay off the house a lot faster. Because it's a difference when you see, like, when you first get your house and you pay the mortgage the whole first year and then they send you your tax bill, you're like, that's the same amount I bought it for. It's like I haven't made a payment. That's so weird. I don't know if y'all know or not, but I've been paying y'all every month for 12 months. This don't look right.
It's $2,000 higher. Like, what?
Like, this is not making sense. But when you are able to make those extra payments, or you're able to put more towards the principal, or refinance, to do any of those things, you can actually see the difference. So now I've owned that house since 2015. And so even initially, my cash flow was like $175 a month. And then it went to like $245 a month. And now I'm like cash flowing probably close to $700 a month now because tenants have changed, rents have increased, and I've refinanced the house. So there's a lot higher cash flow. It's not an overnight thing.
Right.
And I don't...
It's a longevity game.
It is. Like, it's a long-term game. You've got to think of it a lot slower, But in budgeting, I'm planning to have multiple homes do this over time. You don't have to buy 3 homes a year. You could literally buy 1 home every 2 years and have a real retirement plan for yourself that when you retire, the $1,200 a month that you're getting from Social Security plus the $7,000 a month you're getting from your rental properties is better, right? Like it gives you a real retirement plan so that you can actually retire. Because when I retire, I'm done.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not coming back into the workforce. Don't look for me to greet you at Walmart. I'm not. If I need to go to Walmart, I'm robbing the place.
Everything's gonna be ran by machines by then, though. So you better have your guns ready because machines gonna be security.
They are. It is. I promise you. If I get to a place where financially I still haven't got it together by retirement, I'm ringing up that TV as a bag of oranges.
Duffel bag.
I'm ringing it up.
Ma'am, that's not an Apple.
It's an Apple TV.
Today it is. Run like no. But yeah, so I think overall it doesn't have to just be real estate, but we talking about stocks. It can be your business, it can be whatever. You gotta think, even in business. Yeah. People think your business is supposed to be booming that first year, like it's supposed to be great. You're supposed to be in the thousands, millions, whatever. And I can't even remember what statistic it was about. Most businesses fail after the second year or fourth year or whatever it is. So it's just kind of like, if you're trying to jump into anything, which has been a good telltale sign for me when people come to me with business ideas or things that they want to invest in. Like if it's I don't want to say get rich quick scheme, but if it's
it's coming off scheming.
I was gonna say, if it's something that, oh man, we can get this done in 2 months, and we can have it, and it comes off a little. I don't think I want to be a part of that because I've been a part of that before, and I've seen how that has turned out.
Oh yeah,
it's never been a successful thing. It's never been.
It's never been something you can do long term.
Right.
Yeah, like I want something that's gonna last. Like I need something that I can continue to do, even if I do it from a hands-off perspective of getting property management companies, or getting a manager for just my properties or something like that. Like,
so the mindset got to switch. It's got to be a longevity thing.
But it's a part of the budgeting mindset, like
but
that.
Nobody wants to budget. Like nobody wants to sit down and look at. I was just saying,
know
what it is. As long as you don't look at, like text messages and things that people send you. It's like as long as I don't read them, like
it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
I don't gotta actually, be accountable for that. And so I think people are like, man, if I can just not look at what I spend and just spend money, magically it'll come back. Or what Americans do, what we like to do is we spend money and then we don't budget, we don't look at it, and then we look at our bank account and we be mad like they ain't paying us enough.
Right? They're just not.
Yeah, we're not getting paid enough, but at the same time, you ain't worried about what you're spending. You just lighten it up, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, whatever it is. You just sitting there charging, and then you look up and you're like, I can't do this. This ain't right. And like, nah, you just have to spend it frivolously, and you got to figure out how to budget. And no, it's I don't want to say it's and budgeting it isn't really tedious. It's just people don't want to, including me, because I used to be that way. You don't want to do it because you don't want to look at the truth. Like, it's the truth. Do I really spend $900? I think we talked about this before. Did I really spend this amount of money on?
Literally $900. I was so embarrassed.
Like, come on, man.
I guarantee you, he's never called me since.
But see,
he's not about to call me and tell me I spent $900 on eating out. That's embarrassing.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't look at it, and as long as we don't look at it, we tell ourselves it doesn't exist.
Of course,
and bills keep piling up, and debt keeps piling up.
Yeah.
All because you won't do this one simple thing. I told a friend probably like a month ago, like I was telling them, I'm like, if I don't know why, but every time I don't want to call it anxiety, but I just don't want to do something because I think it's going to cost me too much time or whatever the case is. And then I finally get around to doing it. Yeah. I ask myself, why didn't I just do it?
I promise you, I made a video and I never posted it. I never posted a video. And I was like, time spent avoiding loading the dishwasher, 2 days, 4 hours and 22 minutes. Time loading the dishwasher, 11 minutes.
That's
Why?
That's like the most perfect example.
I was like going around the kitchen like this, like trying not to see the sink, because I'm like, how are these dishes piling up so fast? I don't want to do these dishes, and I avoided it for 2 days, of course. And then you start like, what's that smell? Let me get these dishes.
It's the same way with laundry. Like you'll wash that laundry real quick, and you're like, I'm not gonna fold all this.
No,
I'm not gonna do all this. And if you just sit there and fold it, take your 30 minutes or hour or whatever, instead of avoiding it all week, letting it pile up, and now you don't know what's dirty, what's clean. Like, is this a clean shirt or dirty? Like, now you got to rewash
now
it.
I'm out of detergent.
But in all seriousness, it will cost you in the end if you don't budget. It's the same way with anything. It will cost you if you don't sit there and just do the small things now. Knock them out. Make sure laundry, it can be laundry, dishes, whatever it is, and it'll help you out. Also build that whole consistency of what you need to be doing anyway. But it's the same way with budgeting. Like if you don't knock it out, if you don't look at it now, it's really like monthly, at least by month. It needs to be more than what you're used to. Yeah. If you don't look at it, then down the line you're gonna say, oh, I don't have money to pay for this. I don't have money to pay for that. How did that happen? Yep. Oh, well, this price went up on this. This went up on this. And you didn't budget for it. And now you've been hiding from it for so long that now those clothes are piled up. And now you got to rewash everything. Now you need more detergent.
Yeah. So funny enough, while you put my words back in my face, you and I don't think it was intentional because I engaged with you. But then I was like, this is the same stuff I be telling people about insurance. I'll be like, you can put it off. You can put it off until you. How long do you think you're going to be at that job? Man. Oh, okay. So you think you'll be done with that job by 50? How much do you think it's going to cost you to get this insurance at 50? And how much do you think that cash value is going to grow now that you waited until 50?
I think about it
and
all
I'm
the time.
like, I'm telling other people this, and I just realized that it still relates to everything in my life,
and
including
not just,
budgeting.
I was just gonna say,
and I'm
not just in insurance or whatever.
So I'm like, I know I've told people, you can get it now in your 30s and in your 40s, so you can wait until, because you already said you're not going to be at this job forever. So whatever insurance you have through this job, you're really just wasting your time.
Yep.
Because once you quit, all that money is gone. You'll never see it again.
Yep.
So now you got to start from scratch, and now you're 50. And guess what? You also got this problem,
now
that problem, this problem, that problem. Your IUL is not going to gain much in the 2 years that you until you retire. So it's just like you got to do it when you know. You have to do it when you know, because what is the cost of that lost time is money and frustration and time.
It's the same thing across the board.
It is.
Whether it's real estate or stocks, like when you see a company that you know is good, and you're like, man, it's cheap right now. But maybe it'll drop a little bit, and I'll wait for it. And then the company starts taking off more and more. You look at it every day, every week. It's like, dang, it went up another $5. Maybe I should.
It'll drop.
It goes up. Now you look at a stock, and I've done it before multiple times since I've been in the stock market, right? Like, and you look at that company, and you're like, I could have bought that company at $15. That thing is $200 now.
Yeah.
I could have bought that company at $30. Now it's $100 now. And you think to yourself, like, why did I wait? Because you're trying to sit there. You're trying to time the market for one. But anyways, you're trying to sit there and think, oh, well, I've got time. I'll figure it out later. Yeah. I'll put it off later. I'll put it off.
Absolutely. But then it's wild because I say no rush, but every morning I wake up ready to retire.
So it's not natural.
So it is a rush. It is a rush. I am in a rush. I need to invest now.
Right.
I need to fight whatever demons are holding me back from being able to do it when I need to do it. I have to do all of that now.
You're
I have
good to go.
And when I'm like, I don't want to budget. But now I budget. Every time a check comes in, like I budget for it. Like where that money's going to go, what's going to go where. And I'm like, okay, I don't have anything allocated for this portion. But sure enough, something will come up where that money's supposed to go. Whether it's an expense or whether it's an investment opportunity or whether it's somebody asking for money, it will find somewhere to go. So I just move it. And that's one of the reasons why I have a lot of accounts. But like I like to move it out of the way so I don't see it.
I have a lot of accounts because my mind works that way. If I don't put it in this area, then I'm going to do what with it? Spend it. If I don't put it, I do. And I know people have always called me crazy. We've talked about this before too. Like, man, do you really have 7 accounts? And I didn't know I needed 7 accounts. Like, you got to know yourself.
You do.
I didn't know I needed 7 accounts until I started using money in places that I shouldn't be using money. Like, I'll save up, $2,000, $3,000 over here. Like, I just want to put this back. And then it's like something pops up. Oh, now I got to use $1,000. Or I'll pull something out. Well, now I'm going to take a trip or whatever. So now you're pulling from all this, just this one account. And then you look at your account. Damn, account load. So now it's like, you know what? If I make 7 accounts, it didn't start out like a 7. It just started out, well, here's 2. Here's 3. Here's 4.
It eases its way into
it does.
I actually had to come down because I had 7, and I was like, I actually don't know where money is at any time. Like I would be in the checkout and then be like, let me log into my accounts and figure out where money is right now because I don't know. And so hold on, let me go through all my apps, sign in, face.
Well, that's the thing. Like it doesn't have to be. And I'm not saying all my accounts are like spending accounts. I have like 2 spending accounts, and I have like a real estate account. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not, because in my real estate account, that doesn't mean like oh, I'm pulling out, for just this specific house or for that specific refrigerator or whatever. It's just like it's the overall account for this area. And so if I don't have that, then I start pulling out the other accounts that I don't need to be doing. And so it doesn't have to get so tedious, like, oh man, I've got 7 spending accounts, but it does need to be, okay, these are my 2 spending accounts for whatever. This is my account for my stocks.
Allocated for
exactly. This is allocated for my 3 to 6 month saving. I'm not touching this. This is allocated for my actual business accounts, which I do have. And so it has to be, you have to really get for real with it for you to see the change. But I guess that's anything, right? If you don't get for real with any of it, you're not going to see the change. And you can't be mad about that.
No. But that's why I was like, you threw it back in my face. Because we're talking about it. I'm like, dang. I'm saying it about this, but it actually applies
in
to
all
everything.
these other areas. Yeah.
So on the thought of accounts, I thought this was funny. So as I'm doing the life insurance meetings, and I do a lot of the couples, and I'm realizing in Black and brown households, the money is not combined. And it's so funny because people will be like literally looking at each other and they're like, yeah, so what do you guys make monthly? And like, well, I make this. And then they just look at their spouse like, I don't know what you got going on.
So what you make?
Yeah. And then, so we'll put it together and be like, okay, so together y'all are bringing in about $11,600. And I remember one of the husbands was like, hold on. Like, cause he had to go back and he was like, when did your pay rate change? And she was like, when I changed jobs. She was like, oh, okay, I just thought you just didn't like that job. She was like, I didn't, but when I got the new job, they also paid me more.
Yeah.
And it was like, it wasn't a thing of like her spending his money because he didn't know why she had volunteered to give him extra money for a down payment on a new car. Right? Like, didn't realize it's because she'd been stacking on the other side.
Making them big bucks.
Yeah, and he was like, because if we make over $11,000 a month, we can buy a house now.
Right.
Like, that realization hit, like, how much money they had combined. And to me, I'm not saying that's the whole I'm not married. So, I'm not saying that's the whole purpose of marriage, but I'm like, how you not? What y'all talk about if money don't come up?
Well,
but then, right? So, we continue to do appointments. And I'm noticing this is a trend in every Black and brown household. Only in the white households do they sing it in unison. $9,300 a month. Like, it's in unison. They know exactly how much it is because she knows what her portion is and like what she spends and how she allocates to pay for childcare or pay for this or pay for that. And he knows in his mind what he's allocating out of that account. But at the same time, I feel like it's because they know that they're able to move faster. And what I've seen just in looking at actual data and looking at people, them combining their incomes and they know how much they have, they are also budgeting. And so they're real strict on what they're spending. And they both have separate alerts set whenever a certain amount is spent. And so his is a lot higher than hers is. She wants to know every time $50 is spent out of their account. So even like filling up his truck, like she knew.
Alert.
Like, oh, okay. He feels like it's, hey, you've been filling up a lot. Like, do we need to look at another car? Like, because it's on their mind a lot more because it's combined. But I noticed on my friend forever, right? We've been friends forever. Her and her husband, they were like, we could actually buy a house now. We were saying that we were saving up for 2 years, but we could legit buy a house in a month because we make enough to. And he was like, and a way nicer house than I thought. And it was just the revelation.
What
and
did the wife say?
She didn't know that he had been making more either. She was like, I had no idea. She was like, if anybody had asked me, I would have said about 8, which is still good, but I wouldn't have said 11.
Yeah. She
unaccounted for over $3,000 a month of income because they never saw the numbers together.
I can speak on this. Look, because I'm Black, my wife is Mexican.
Yeah.
And we have accounts like that. Like our account is like that. Like I've got my money here, she's got her money here, and then we have a main account. But here's the thing with Black and brown people, right? Like, check it out. We look at what all do we have to pay for, right?
Yes.
And so since whatever we have to pay for as a family, we will take out of each, our own accounts, and we'll pay for that. Whatever's left over, that's my money. Like that's how we live. Like that's my money for me to go and do fishing or get my hair done or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And so for Black and brown people, you know, the wife may make, $10,000 or the husband may make $8,000, but if the family's bills are only $7,000, then we're splitting that down the middle, or however you do it. If it's 50-50 or the husband's paying 75, whatever, and then whatever money's left over, that's the money that's staying in the account. That's the money that I'm going on my boys trip with, or I'm spending on. Because what I find a lot of times when I talk to my friends that are in similar situations is hold on, why are you buying this PlayStation?
Yeah.
5.
So if this person doesn't see it, then they don't have to speak on it. And the thing is, it's funny because she'd be like, there was another couple that we did, and she was like, and then they were talking about like subscriptions, and they were like, probably not much, probably like 60, 70, and she was like, and just the look on her face was like, oh my God, you have no idea how much I spend in subscriptions. Like, the look was like, you think only that amount of money is going out of our account every month. And she was like, I mean, like on the Amazon side, like.
When you start remembering the neck, you're like, oh.
It's eye-opening to see them do this part of the process. And for me, for some reason, it makes me uncomfortable. I feel like I'm getting in their business, right? But at the same time, I feel like they needed this.
Right.
Because a lot of times, I get all of the other things. And again, I'm not married, so it's easier for me to say what people should be doing. I don't know what it's like to have somebody spend your money. So I don't know. My only experiences with that is my broke bestie in there. And he's a kid, so he spends all of my money. But I see it and I'm like, I feel like we could go forward faster if we knew how much, because a lot of times on the expenses, so I've seen where couples don't even know how much each other's car note is. And I'm like, I mean, she got it, it's her car. And I'm like, yeah, but you would have advised her to not spend $930 a month on a car note. I know you would have. And I feel like
how much it was going to be.
If I'm married, I'm not going to the car lot without my husband. I go to the car lot now because I have to go. There's no one else to go with me. But a car lot, I'm not saying that women are too stupid to figure out things. But I'm saying when you're in love with a vehicle, when I go somewhere. But you can't stop that whether you married or not, though. Like if you're in love with something. At the same time, you need a voice of reason. And sometimes just somebody telling you, hey, if you're going to spend $900 a month on this, that means that you're not going to be able to spend on these other 10 things.
Oh, there you go. Now you hit it perfectly, right? Yeah. So my wife, like her last car that she bought, she went by herself because I already know you can't with a woman. You can't, whether it's shoes or whatever, like whatever a woman really wants. Yeah. And if they can afford it, they gonna get it regardless. But what I did tell her is, hey, look for something under this interest rate. Look for something that this kind of gas mileage, something that because at least that's in your head. Like when I go, look for a car, I'm not gonna go crazy. Maybe it's just me then. Or, something like that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, we can afford about, $400, $500, $600 car note, but don't go past that. Yeah. But for a woman, if she can already afford it and it's not hurting anything, y'all tend to just go with it and just let it be. I feel like if there was a plan, like the way that I direct my money in every dollar, there's always a plan, right? And so if I go and I overspend on something, although we have enough to pay for it, it doesn't help our plan. So it leaves us stuck here when we could be here. And I have a problem with stagnancy to a point where if I feel like I'm not now, I'm going to pull back on everything and project myself to where I feel like I should be because I put myself back. And maybe I'm different because if you took me, I'm not wild about like a whole lot of cars. But there are 2 vehicles that if you put me next to and then you told me, hey Sabrina, make sure the interest rate, when my eyes lock on that Land Rover L3, baby, man, this car know this. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not here. I need voice of reason. I need somebody to be like, hey, this car costs more than your mortgage. Yeah. You can't. Yes. Call 911. Yes, but at the same time, you aren't going to stop when somebody really wants. It's the same thing with a dude, and whether it's like a fishing gear or a vintage car or cards, baseball card, whatever it is. When they're locked in on something and they believe that it can be afforded, they're going to get it. You may hear the voice of your wife or your husband or your spouse. Hey, we don't. And you're like, well, we can figure it out when we get there. especially in minority homes, like especially in like black and brown homes, it's just one of the things like, I deserve this anyway, so let me go ahead and get it. Should we look at it more like, man, if we combine these now, we can pay off the car sooner, and we have more money, and we can do this, this,
thought, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, me talking with minority people, we also like our luxuries now because we don't know we don't know what the future. Yeah, we don't know, but we can go overboard and like. I can't leave here with it. Yeah, you can, but you can do something responsible with your money. But at the same time, it's like, man, if I want that specific thing, this is my luxury to get it, and I'm going to get it, now. Okay. I'm going to get it now. I'm not saying it's right. Yeah. I'm just saying there's just a different mindset when it comes to that.
So there's a very odd couple, but they're friends of mine. They're both strange in different ways, but they're white and their finances were combined. And the way they talked about their money together, they both knew what direction it needed to go. And so it stopped them from buying frivolously because they knew that there was a goal.
Yeah.
And so they were talking so they were in a scenario where they had been thinking about him getting a new truck for work because he does a lot of miles. But then her mom took her car because her mom's car something was going on and wrecked it. Right? So they both needed new cars. So then they were telling us in the appointment about how they had to decide how they wanted to allocate their money, and what they decided is that she will get the car that she originally wanted to begin with because she didn't have that. They were just going to pay it off really quickly, and then they could reallocate all of their money to his truck and then pay it off because they have been making like a payment and a half on his, and she had been doing extra on her previous car that her mom wrecked. So then they just decided, let's not do that. Let's kind of snowball and go all in on one and then go all in on the other so that they can take the extra money. She said, because we haven't been to Disney World in 2 years and we were going every year. So like the money has an allocation, and because they both know the plan, I'm not saying me.
Well, I get it. No,
but I'm saying it was like I know that I won't go and overspend on this one thing because we have a plan, right? But I think sometimes in black and brown households, just based on my appointments, there isn't a plan for additional money, right? Like you have a plan, the things that you want to do with your extra money, and this person has a plan of what they want to do with their extra money. Right. So let's just pay for the things together, and then we take care of our separate stuff separate. But it's like, yes, but you could get to your separate thing so much faster if you know the goal. You could.
That's what I'm saying. You could. That's the perfect scenario. Yeah. But at the same time, if I want my thing right now, and you want your thing right now, as long as the family things are taken care of, we can both have our thing right now. But my thing and her thing can be on a much greater level if we say, hey, let's focus on your thing first. Let's get the best of it, put all the money towards that, knock it out, and then we focus on your thing and get that the best of it versus having a mediocre of my thing and your thing at the same time. To me, it's really based off of preference. Do I want my thing now? Do I want whatever it is that I want right now? Yeah. Or do I want to allocate do we want to allocate all our money to whatever the specific goal is to get the best of this situation, and then come back to my thing? Like it depends.
So I also noticed that what was different in those things is that when there's a side hustle, they do it together. And in black and brown households, she has a hustle, he has a hustle. They're not together. We might have some of the same clients, but he does yards for extra money and I sell this. Or it's never we get together and this is how. But like, for example, there was one, like a Spanish household, and their extra side hustle was fencing. And so her whole thing was the social media, the marketing, and setting the appointments. And his thing was just going to get it done, hiring the crew and then getting it done. And so them working together, they actually were finding out in that process where the majority of their money was coming from. if they could maintain that and do a little bit more on the weekends, they could turn over their whole income into just being the fencing because they were working together on it. But I feel like that allows you to get to your goal faster.
But that comes down. Now we're doing almost like the nuances of things. That comes down to what does you and your partner have in common, and what are y'all allowing to happen together. Like my wife is a career woman. She wants nothing to do with entrepreneurship. Like absolutely nothing.
I know
she doesn't like
people.
She doesn't like the up and down. She doesn't like the uncertainty. She doesn't like as a career woman, she has her master's degree. She knows wherever I go work at, I'm getting paid every week. I'm getting paid every bi-weekly, every month. Like this is my money. If I add on certifications, if I add on this, I'm getting paid more, and it's steady. Me, on the other hand, I like the
risk of it.
I like hey, can I risk it? And if I risk it, it's going to be a home run. Do I like that if I risk it, it's going to be the worst decision ever? No. But I do like the uncertainty of I can make something happen out of nothing. She hates that. So therefore, it's hard to...
in our appointments, that's the difference between the variable and the index. Men like variable and women like index. Like, I like it to know that it's going to go up or stay the same. I don't need that variation. Men are like...
Let it ride. We'll see what happens. And I think that's the difference, especially in black and brown homes, is, you know what? You may be good at this, or you may have, but I have no interest in that. And because they have no interest, now you can sacrifice and say, you know what? I'll hold it down. I'll do the marketing or whatever. It's not something I enjoy, but if it's going to help us get to where we need to go, then cool, okay. But I find it in black and brown homes that it's not like I want to do my thing, you want to do your thing. It may not be the same thing. And so if it's not the same thing, it's not going to make me happy, or it's not going to make you. It may make you miserable, and it may make me miserable, and so therefore it's not going to work in the first place. And so it just, I think it just depends.
I can see it both ways. I just thought that was so funny. Like every time I get to an appointment, like the shock that they see when they see their whole entire income, and even when they're like, oh, somebody will go off to help a kid with something. And one of the ladies was like, and then my husband, he's at like $5,000 or $6,000. And so he was just sitting back down. He was like, what's $5,000 or $6,000? And she was like, oh, like we're saying like how much we earn monthly. He was like, me? Like, and she was like, he was
like $10K.
Yeah. So that's the thing. He was like, so I make $8,500 a month.
See.
And she was like, oh, I can start work then. And just started laughing like it was a joke. So the type of person she is, she will always work. She's the entrepreneur one. She's always going to find things to do. It was just a joke, but at the same time, I was like, she had no clue.
Right.
And I feel like there's a difference between you have your money and I have my money. But there's also some point where we have to discuss how much we're earning.
I agree.
To see like how much our families can do. Like,
I 100%
I feel like, okay, we're comfortable. All of our bills are paid and nobody's stressed out, so we're good. But like, I feel like there's more though. We could go a little bit further than just being comfortable, and we could actually do something that could change our family, like our legacy, our history, or how much we're giving back to our communities. Yes, we know that we have enough for just us, and we're covered under us. But what if we put that energy into giving back to our community, because we do have so much excess? Because for me, I know whenever there's excess, I like to move it because I know God will assign that money because it's not for me. And so a lot of times I have to look at what I have and I'm like, I don't normally have, like, for me, October is not normally a good month for real estate. It's not. It's like a transition of people are wherever they want to be for...
Like holidays
for the summer, right? They've transitioned into their homes, even if they had a late September close, they're done. But October this year has been phenomenal, and it's been close after close after close, and it's been even leases getting closed out, and it's just been, I'm like, this is for something. So I won't spend like I'd like to spend because I know that money's to be assigned. Like it's different. Like it has to go away because I know it's for something, even if it's just to be saved for later down the road. I know it's for something. So I just feel like I don't. But again, I've never had to share my money with another human, so I don't know that stress. And I know how other people are, and I look at them like, that's how they do their finances. Well, so I don't know what it would be like.
Your money is your money right
married
now. Exactly. So just think about your husband saying, "Hey, I need to borrow that $3,000," and by borrow I mean
it's mine.
I'm going to use it. You like, hold on, what?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, just for like the goal, like you rented a place that you probably didn't love for the last 2 years.
Again, I'm with you on it. I agree with what you're saying.
I just feel like there has to be a little bit more, and I know, like I told you that I come from a background of we don't talk about money. And you said, no, we didn't come from that kind of background. But at the same time, there's limits into what is discussed and how much is shared because y'all aren't sharing enough to know to the dollar. And at the same time, feel like maybe your partner has an idea, and it may not be like entrepreneurship or whatever, but like, I'd like to do stuff like this, but I know we don't make that kind of money. And by we, I mean, I know I don't make that kind of money, and I have no idea what you make, but I know we're comfortable. So like, it could be allocated for something. It could be tied to something that you need to do, or even to like a ministry assignment or whatever the case is. So for me, I don't know what that would be like. Now I'm nervous that we've had this conversation.
But it's a good thing. Like, again, if you find somebody that likes entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
Then and y'all
I
both.
I feel like I would be stressed out if I married an entrepreneur. We can't both be up and down. Somebody got to be company.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it just depends. Like some people like certain things and others don't. And so if your spouse or your significant other doesn't like the same thing, then it's hard to do marketing and fencing because I don't care about fencing and I don't care about marketing. I care about making Easter baskets or something.
I think the reason why I can relate to where their mindset is because I went from having a dream job to realizing that I don't dream about working any job. So I don't have a dream job. So if IT is how I get out of, I have certifications now. I'm now signed up for a course and I am in IT and I create software.
If you sacrifice, like that can be, I can hate, because I don't like careers. Like my wife likes careers. But if you sacrifice to say, okay, if we both go so hard in our careers, and we have a goal set that after 5 years, we want to have this kind of money saved up from our careers, that one of us can quit our career, then great. But there has to be that understanding of, I'm going to hate this for 5 years. Or if
there's a timeline.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's an understanding that I'll grind with you, I don't like it, but I'll grind with you to get to the goal, then cool. But
do you think it would be so much of a sacrifice that somebody would be miserable?
I do, because I think people are individuals and they like what they like. And like I said, my wife is a career woman. She enjoys having a career and building on that. I'm an entrepreneur. I enjoy the thrill of finding out, trying to figure out how these things all work.
I'd like a career without a boss. So that makes me an entrepreneur.
but that's what I'm saying. So if you find somebody like that, great. But if you don't find somebody like that who hates entrepreneurship, and you say, hey, can you help me on the marketing side? Or can you help me on whatever side? And they're willing to, because they understand the goal, they're willing to do it. But inside, it's still going to be a part of them that says, I hate this. I hate this. This is not what I do. But because they're focused on the goal, they're going to get it accomplished, or they're going to help you get it accomplished. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be
it's not necessary. It's not necessary to do the side hustle together. And I just noticed that they do. Like, whatever it is, like, that person just gets on board and they're like, and then we do this on the weekends. And it's like, I wouldn't like to do that. I don't want to help you in your long term.
But that's what I'm saying. But if you're focused on the goal, you're going to do it. But you're going to be miserable like, I don't want to do this.
And I feel like I could get over it mentally because I feel like I've gotten pretty good control of my mind more recently because I've just told myself, you're going to like this. Whether you like it or not, you're going to like it. Or you're going to do it and you're going to enjoy it. And even like for me, I didn't enjoy getting on the phone with people. And even before I take a call, I tell myself, you're going to enjoy this call. And I muscle through it. Like, it's fine. And it's not like misery and people can't tell that I'm sad. I enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But I just find that I think it's interesting when I do those appointments, how different it is when you interact with different races of couples. And then, because then you have the absolute alternative, which is I had one Middle Eastern couple, and she was literally just there for pure presence. Mm-hmm. She had no idea the expenses of the household, where bills were being spent, how much he made. Mm-hmm. She was like, just looking at him to get that information. Right. That worked. Believe it or not, that would work for a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying.
That would work for a lot of people. As long as everything is covered, I don't need to know how much is coming in.
So you gotta find that spot. You gotta know your whoever you with. You gotta know. Some people it works. Hey, we're sharing everything. We want to know the amount of money. You make this much. You make this much. We're doing it together.
I feel like I just need to know. Like I don't need to touch it. Like we can be separate, but I do want to know.
I need to know. You make $12K a month.
Yeah, because I need to know where we could be living. Mm-hmm. I need to know how nicely we could be living. Because at the same time, I'll be like, but I still enjoy doing these other things. So, like, it may not, I think I just like to know. Because then I'd like to know, like, how much we could invest. Because I know, like you're saying, like, some people are entrepreneurial, some are not. Like, there's a lot of couples where I get, like, where the woman is like, let's go risk it all. Yeah. But she's not the breadwinner. Yeah. So I'm about to risk all of yours. But let's go risk it all.
Talking big. Like a real bit. Like, hold on, wait.
Yeah, we about to get this investment property.
Like, hold on.
You just see these look like you ain't saved up.
Right, but some people see that as, well, whatever you make is what I make because we're together.
Yeah.
I may be at home taking care of the kids, or I may not have any job. I may just be a stay-at-home dad or mom.
To me, that's a little different because I feel like y'all do have to share that income. Because I had to share all of my time with your children, so that's different.
What if they don't have kids? What if it's just her and she wants to stay at home? See what I'm saying? People still
dream.
That's what it's a dream for everyone, right? Like, but that's what I'm saying. So now, say you have no kids or nothing, all you do is just you get to chill at home. Or you may cook your husband some meals, wash his clothes, maybe, whatever. But let's just say he doesn't make you do any of that. Like, you just chill.
There's a maid.
Be my wife. Be my wife and just kick it. I know it's the dream, right? But then when it comes down to it, when it's like, oh, yeah, and you say, oh, yeah, I think we should get a couple of rental properties with our money. Is he going to be like, well, our money?
That's so weird that you said that.
I'm the one working here, you know what I'm saying?
You wasn't with me in the gym.
So it all depends on who, whether it's married or in a relationship. Like, I get it. I do think you're going to get to the goal quicker if you just suck it up and say, you know what, I may not like this, but we have a goal and we're going to get to that goal.
But I wonder, is it really sucking it up? Because you keep saying that like it's going to be miserable. But I feel like that one specific couple, that they could have been in a home faster. There's no sucking it up for either of them. They've actually been making a ton of extra money for the last 2 years. Both of them have received pay increases. I'm saying sucking it
up as in, I don't get to do what I want to do with whatever money's left over now. I have to do whatever we need to do to get to the goal. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes they're not actually, there's nothing to suck up.
It's just money that's just sitting
there. We actually just didn't know we had this much money.
That's different.
We could have been there. And that's what blew my mind. Is I was like,
if he's got money just to have it and you don't know what to do.
Her car was pretty new. She had recently bought a Jeep, and she had just given him extra money to get the down payments. He'd get the monthly payment that he wanted on his car. And they were like, we're thinking about buying a house in a couple of years. And then when they saw the amount, they were like, we could actually, the house that we want, we could get now. Because we asked what that monthly payment would be. And we make way more than that. So it wouldn't hurt. That money is just sitting.
Gotcha.
And we're saving it up to buy a house. Yeah. But we can actually get the house now with no sacrifice.
That makes sense.
No change in our life. It was like they just didn't know what was on the other side.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it as, we've paid everything as a family. Yeah. What we have left over, I'm going to do. I wanted to build a car.
Contribute. Yeah,
right. I want to build a, model, whatever. Yeah. And over here, I want to start my own dress business. So that's where my money's going. This and that. Yeah. So.
No, I just thought that was it. I was like, that's wild. You know about the house 2 years ago.
A whole lot longer ago.
Yeah.
again, to wrap things up, I mean, hey, you got to budget. You got to face your fears.
You have to.
Straight up.
Yeah.
To figure out what kind of spouse or what kind of significant other that you want to be with, because everybody isn't going to be down for the grind, and there may be some that will be down for the grind.
Of course.
And there may be someone that's like, I just want bills paid, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And there's people out there like that as well.
But that's conversation that we got to have now. So I feel like when we were younger, that wasn't necessarily needed.
It's hard to do it younger, though.
Yeah,
because that's not what you're thinking of.
Exactly.
Like,
but now you have to have those conversations, because these divorces are popping up like...
Man, you better start getting these prenups. That's a whole nother topic, though. Like,
let's talk about that another time.
I'm just saying, if I build, you wasn't with me in the gym beforehand, you ain't gonna come blow my money all up, and then now you want another divorce after 2 years, and you want half of what I just built. But anyway, we'll talk. Maybe that's the next
episode.
Yeah.
We will discuss prenups, because I have thoughts and I have opinions.
Well, let's talk about it on the next episode. Then we'll do that.
Yeah.
We out.